Hi guys, and welcome back to a Tea Tuesday. Let's get into it. Oh, I needed that. Today has not been the best day. I've been sleeping all day after I got home from work. So I'm really tired and I'm just really tired. So yeah, it's needed. So this week I have another set of questions from a subscriber, and this one is from Hit Mang Bang PD Nim. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And it's, can you please do a video about how you applied to be a teacher in Korea and share your experiences? Was also concerned about money and a house. So you commented actually on two different things in my past videos. And you were concerned about like the money and the housing issues because housing here, the deposit system is so expensive and all of that. So coming up with that, if you're moving to a country, can be difficult. So I'll deal with that a little bit later. But first, I thought I'd talk about my experiences coming to Korea and like how did I do that? How did I go about moving to Korea? First, like I said, I did a lot of research. I tried to find the best recruiter that I could. And a recruiter is basically someone who connects you to schools that are looking for teachers, specifically English teachers. And I did a lot of research on who's the best recruiter, who can I trust, who is willing to deal with the fact that I'm bringing a dog with me to Korea, because a lot of recruiters were like, oh, you're bringing a dog? No. Like, you're a great candidate otherwise, but you're bringing a dog? No. So I had a little harder of a time finding a recruiter that would take me. And that's another suggestion. So one, I was looking for someone who would allow me to bring the dog, like would even work at me, look at me, and like allow me to bring Trixie with me. And then my other issue that I didn't realize at the time, which wasn't a thing that people talked about, but go with multiple recruiters. There are multiple really good recruiters, and they often have different types of positions in different schools. You might get the same school. They might offer you the same school. Have only one of those recruiters put your information to the school and tell the other one, oh, no. Because like if they get two from different recruiters, they're not going to look at you. But I strongly advise working with two recruiters or more actually, and this is a thing, because you're limiting your playing field if you're just going through one. Now, there are recruiters who have a large number of schools and can actually, more than likely, just going through them would be okay, which is what I did. I actually went through Corvia, and I didn't have much of an issue, but I have known people who have tried to go through just one recruiter, and the recruiter's basically like, we have nothing for you, we can't help you, and then that screwed up their timeline to try and come to the country. So I strongly recommend looking at multiple recruiters, but do your research on the recruiters. Try to see if they are good recruiters, try to see if they have any reviews online, what are people saying about them. I do recommend Corvia, but, and this is not paid by the way, I just went through them when I came here, but I wouldn't stick with just Corvia. I would do multiple recruiters at the same time. And there, like I said, there are some really great recruiters. You just have to do a little bit of research. As for your other concerns when moving here, the money and housing situation, any good school will offer housing as their package. Now, I pay for my own housing because I'm a professor. I do not get housing included. They don't pay for any of it. Like, I get a little housing stipend, but they don't pay for my housing deposit. They don't pick out my apartment, none of that. However, some universities will give you housing, some won't. It just depends on the university. But any good elementary, middle school, high school, or Hagwon should offer you housing. And if they don't take the school, because they're trying to not give you any like a bonus, I guess. A benefit of moving here is you get a house. So I strongly recommend looking at only places that are offering housing as part of their package, because if they don't, why aren't they? Another thing that I've seen is, I know there is a Hagwon branch, a Hagwon chain, I guess, that they offer the key money and a housing stipend to you your first year. So you could also go that route. You get to pick your own apartment, you get to do all of that fun jazz, but they offer the housing deposit and the housing allowance. That's another option. You still get a house, you get to pick it though, which is kind of nice, having your control over your house. But you have to be careful with that, because you're gonna have to come early and you're gonna have to look for an apartment before you start. Whereas if you get you go through a school that already has an apartment for you, it's gonna be a lot easier to transition to life here in Korea. So my big recommendation there is also try to find a school that has, again, housing as a benefit. And speaking of my experiences, I, again, only went through one recruiter, which I didn't realize was a mistake at the time, but it could have been. I was coming, I had already finished my master's degree. My big deterrent was Trixie. And so I looked for recruiters that would allow me to, like, they would look for me because of my dog. And my experience was good. Like, I did get pressure a lot, actually, even from Corvia, even though when they told me originally that, like, oh, this won't be too big of a problem, but like it might be a problem. They would come at me sometimes with, oh, well, you have the dog. Have you thought about leaving the dog behind? And like, that would open up so many options for you. You're like the perfect candidate, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving the dog behind. Like, that's a non-negotiable in me looking for a place, like me looking at houses. So even with a company that's supposed to be, was willing, I guess, to help me with the dog, they sometimes were like, hey, yo, this could be a problem, which it can be. It can be a problem with a dog. So there's that. But overall, it didn't take too long, the process. I applied to schools, and oh gosh, it's been so long, but I was applying to schools, and then I think within 1 month of me applying and interviewing at schools, I had 2 job offers. And I basically, one was in Hanam, which is right next to Seoul, it's East Seoul, Hanam City. And then the other was the school that I ended up choosing, which was Yeoju. And the big decision maker for me was my big question, like, does their school provided housing allow animals? And the one in Hanam was like, we don't know. We don't know if the landlord will let you have a pet. And the one in Yeoju was like, well, if they don't let you have a pet, we'll move you. Ding, ding, ding. That's the school I went for. And 2 years after 3 years after I moved, oh my God, you guys have been here for so long. 4 years after I took the job in Yeoju, and I worked at the job in Yeoju, the school that I would have been working at in Hanam ended up getting in a shit ton of trouble, and most of its teachers got deported. So good thing I didn't go there, because that would have been a clusterfuck. But anyway, my suggestions and my experiences are: look for good recruiters, look for school provided housing, and don't go with just one recruiter. Try multiples. So yeah, that is that. Right, Trixie? Now, if you're in country, so that's if you're outside of country. If you're in country, the best way to get a job is to go through recruiters. but also to look on forums online and apply by yourself. That is how I got my first university job. I just sent out mass emails to universities and was like, pick me, pick me, pick me. I didn't deal with a recruiter then. And then for my most recent university job, the one that I teach at right now, my friend is employed there as well. And he's like, hey, Kara, we have an opening. Do you want to move to this university? We work less hours than you do. And I'm like, yes, please. I'd like to work less hours. That would be brilliant. Thank you. And so I moved. So if you're in country, it's a lot easier to find things because a lot of places, especially universities, are only looking for in-country. Not all, but most are only looking for in-country. And there's forums that you can look at. There's Facebook groups that you can join that will help you look for jobs once you're in country. If you're outside of the country, the best bet is a recruiter. So there's that. I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability. And if you have questions, guys, leave them down below. When I see you next time, I will be in Jeju. Well, I will have been in Jeju. I'm going to do a update on my Jeju curse and my dating life while I'm in Jeju because I think it's appropriate considering the Jeju curse. I'll link that in this at the end here. Until next time, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!